riding along. Today's episode is all about something I would term writer's depression. It's not really diagnosed by the DSM. You're not really going to be hearing about it much anywhere else because it's just kind of classified into a larger diagnosis that some people receive, some people self-diagnose. It's something really prevalent, It's not something that people aren't familiar with. You yourself may be familiar with it, not even just as a writer, but maybe even before you thought writing was something you were drawn to. Your mind just kind of defaults to a sort of just kind of complacent, blank, staring abyss of an existence where you lack any sort of sense of direction or wanting to exist, wanting to wake up. It's not exactly sadness, right? It's just more or less, what am I doing? And I don't care what someone tells me what I should be doing. I just legitimately, what am I doing? You wake up and maybe there's just kind of this like dullness that everything has taken on, and you don't really know what's going on. It's just this despondent, what's the point? But it's not something you're going to frown and cry about. It's more just this patent realization, and it can cause you to become very just disconnected. But you don't know if you're responsible for it. You don't know if you're the one who's not like missing something. Maybe you're not seeing something that you're supposed to be in life that others are seeing, but you just feel so disconnected from it. It's just like, what is this? I just kind of have to pacify, fill the time. Some people will know what I'm talking about. Some people won't. If you don't, then this episode is just a curiosity episode for you. And listen on or don't listen on. And it's just a peek into, maybe you'll experience it one day. But it's just a part of a life for some people, especially writers, where it doesn't exactly disappear. It'll come on you, and it's just this wave that you kind of have to ride. And it's almost just like a heat wave, and you're just in it, and you just have to wait it out sometimes. And all you have is a certainty. If you've lived through it before, it's just that it usually passes. Just waiting until then. But here's the thing: as a writer, when you're in one of those, waves, those times, it's readily apparent that you do become a little extra perceptive of things. You become a little more aware of things that are absurd. Otherwise, wouldn't be if you weren't in this state. But it's just like, maybe your questions aren't so unfounded, right? Like, what are these people around me doing? Why are they acting like this? Why are they behaving like this? It's just annoying. It's stupid. Or I don't care. Maybe you're a lot more laissez-faire kind of attitude, and maybe that's somewhere that you really haven't been able to reach before. But it's like when you reach this place of blankness, of nothingness, you're suddenly able to understand, or at least appreciate it from the outside. You don't experience it, but you understand it. It's almost like you're perceiving yourself from the outside. And that's experience in itself as a writer. That's something you can write about down the line. I myself never really found writing to fit into those times because I don't feel like it. I don't want to write. I don't care. It happens to me sometimes. I'm making a channel about writing and I feel it. And for you, you'll feel that too sometimes. You just won't want it. And you can force yourself to. You can try all you want, and maybe you just want to watch some YouTube videos or listen to some podcasts, and even then you're hoping something and it triggers something in you. And I hope if you're there that this does trigger something in you, or like some kind of realization where you can work your way through it or out of it. But mostly it's because one of the most relieving things to hear, or in general to hear sometimes, is, oh, I understand. And if that can be this for you in any way at all, cool. That's why I'm making this right now, because that's what I would have loved too. And I kind of vaguely found it in certain books, and, vaguely elaborated on and expressed. But for the most part, it's pretty difficult to find something like this, because as a writer, it's a unique experience. It's unique to that kind of disposition, to that kind of thinking, where you want to find some importance to it. You want to find some significance, some meaning where otherwise wouldn't find any. And some people would even say that's crazy, that's madness. But I think it's madness not to find meaning. And you're kind of becoming this alternative conscious perception that you are embracing. That disconnect you feel, write it out. Just look at your surroundings. You won't be able to react to them very easily, but you can still look at what's around you and have some kind of collection of what's going on. What are these thoughts that are pacing in your head? Yeah, they feel blank. They feel like there's nothing there, but there is something. Otherwise, you'd be dead, right? There's still something coming into you. I believe it has a purpose, but I can't really make a claim for all these medical disclaimer reasons. I think it's healthy, though. Medical disclaimer. I can't say to fully embrace it, but I think these periods that you may go through are incredibly healthy and refreshing when you do get out of them as a writer. You come back with it with much more. There's this story of it's an old story of this boy or girl, right, has to go to hell to get a golden lock. I don't know, some Freudian stuff. I don't know why it's golden. From golden lock of hair from the devil in hell, and they have to make a journey there, get the hair, and come back. And when they come back, I don't remember the rest of this. I remember that part, but for me, what I'm thinking is, what was really accomplished? Kind of nothing, right? I mean, what are you going to do with the little piece of hair? Yeah, it's cool to show people, like, hey, look at this. So what? But guess what? You feel something when you hear that story. Like, you're like, oh, interesting, they had to go through this. Not in the literal sense. I don't know why this person, whoever made the story's conception of the devil would be blonde, gold. I don't know. I'm not discriminating against you if you are. It's funny to find these kinds of things in ancient writing and recent writings too. A lot gets revealed in little details of what people are thinking at that time and where the context of what it's from. And again, this kind of journey that was taken is kind of pointless when you really think about it. Like, why would you? Again, not in the literal sense. You don't have to believe this stuff, but like, why would you go to hell? Why would you go through this river of fire and approach this throne where you could have easily just been condemned and damned? Your soul would have just been destroyed or absorbed into this. All these questions, like, why? And then coming back, what are you going to do with the hair? I've always seen going through a wave of what I'll just call writer's depression. It's kind of like that. It means something and you don't know why. It just does. It's like, I have this now. I can show this. It is interesting too. Like, if someone, again, not in a literal sense, someone came up to me and was like, hey, here's a piece of hair from the devil himself. It's like, wow, that's really crazy. What? Like, that's a little absurd, but you know what I mean. It's really just like that with your writing. You come back and you show people, like, hey, this is what I've written. And maybe you're already out of hell, so you're feeling a little better, but you write about it. And you write it while you're in that state where you feel okay. You feel better than you did before. You're feeling something. And you're able to tell about it. And you're able to show that. And that kind of writing is really powerful because it doesn't look sad. It doesn't look depressing, as people use that word. But it's powerful. It's impactful. It's usually things that people haven't heard before, or it's said in a way that people haven't heard before. And it like pierces people because it touches on something that they otherwise may know or may not know, but they're somewhat familiar with. But it just seems mythical to them. It just seems impossible or so foreign and so different. But yet for you, you're like, well, I just walked through there and I went there and it didn't hurt because I wasn't feeling anything. So I was able to just walk through there and walk out. And whatever that journey, whatever that path was that you took during that bout of writer's depression was, whatever it looked like, you come out of it the other side and it's just normal life to you. You can write about it like nothing. Oh yeah, I was here and I felt like this and I saw this and I saw it this way. That kind of observation is, I've never heard this taught anywhere, but that's the kind of observation that you're able to imbue and produce as far as the words that come through to you, the writing. If you're trying to get that kind of tone, that kind of depth to what you're saying in a very simple way, clear way, it comes from that kind of place. And again, I can't say go be depressed, and nor should you anticipate it. It's not fun to be there, but it's something real, and it's something that happens, and most likely happens to you already, or has happened to you, and you don't just have to see it like you're doomed. I guess is what I'm getting at too. It's not purposeless, pointless, even though when you're there, it feels like it is. It feels like everything is. So therefore, nothing is. This strange existence that you'll find yourself in. Tell about it. Tell the story of what it was like, and the effect it has on people is going to be, wow. It's going to be much more than you could have done before it. I really think you should just start embracing it and not seeing it as a curse on your life or something, but understanding what it is, what it means, and just always keep in mind you do see the end of it. If you want to put all your thoughts and ideas into a book, check out How to Write a Book in 30 Days. I have it at writingalong.com. Let it haunt your inbox, talking about all this hell and stuff. Let it sit in your inbox and just remind you that you can write a book. And again, those periods that you're in, writer's depression, it's not officially diagnosed by the DSM, as I said at the beginning. Who cares? You know what I'm talking about. It's real, and it doesn't, you're not there forever. It has an end, always. And you'll see it the other side of it. Right? You will. You always will. All right. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you around.